Thanks very much. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Cathaoirleach, for the opportunity to speak on the Finance Bill here today. I want to speak today about what I consider to be the positives of this Finance Bill and where I feel we can do better in the future. In any Finance Bill and any type of provision and decisions that we make, we must look at the decisions we make and look at how can we improve the outcome next time around. And as Deputy Nash said, I think the time for all secrets being kept until the last day must be over, and we must have a new process. And I know that there are certain aspects which will allow that to happen for future budgets. I think first and foremost, the context in which the decisions in this bill were made are very important. The economic collapse that has happened in Ireland since the property bubble burst has cost us our economic independence and impacted greatly on people's lives through, amongst other things, unemployment, falling living standards and negative equity. We all meet with people every day facing these challenges, and we use this interaction to inform and direct our work and to inform ministers as well. We all want to put right the problems facing our country, no matter what side of the House we're on, but we may disagree on how this is to be done. But the facts are, however, the same for us all. This year we will spend 16 billion more than we take in, and the only people willing to lend us are the EU and the IMF. As we know, these loans come with conditions, and we are required to reduce our borrowing by an agreed amount each year. This year it meant reducing our borrowing by 3.8 billion. Any budget that takes 3.8 billion out of an economy is going to impact heavily on families and individuals by asking them to contribute more and make even greater sacrifices, and we've heard some speakers already speak about some of those. Can I reiterate what other members have said already? These are not decisions we would normally consider, as we know the effects that these have. We have, however, been elected with a mandate to address these challenges, and this means making the decisions that will put us back in charge of our own affairs, but it will also give us the opportunity to make improvements where we can and learn for the future. A number of the elements of this bill I want to focus on will, I believe, make a significant difference in the lives of tens of thousands of people, and some members, including Deputy Nash, have mentioned some of these already. In the area of income taxation, there's been no changes to income tax bands, rates or exemptions in this budget, as promised in the programme for government. Also, although it's not included in the bill, but it's worth repeating, that we did deliver on our commitment not to cut headline social welfare rates. In relation to the USC, changes have been made to the universal social charge, where the income exemption level has been raised from €4,004 to €10,036, removing approximately, as Deputy Nash said, 330,000 low-income earners from the universal social charge tax net. This change will mean that these workers, who are mainly seasonal and part-time workers, will no longer have to pay the universal social charge. As well as delivering on a key element in the programme for government promise, it is also the right thing to do. Restoring the minimum wage last July to $8.65 an hour was also the right thing to do for low-income workers. In relation to mortgage interest relief, another programme for government promise was to increase mortgage interest relief to 30% for first-time buyers who took out their first mortgage in the period 2004 to 2008. This increased rate of relief will apply up until the end of 2017 and will benefit approximately 214,000 mortgage holders. This move will most definitely help those who bought at the height of the boom, many of whom are now experiencing negative equity at difficult times and difficulties with their mortgages. In relation to first-time buyers, I also welcome the moves to increase reliefs for those intending to purchase homes this year. First-time buyers will be able to avail of a relief at a 25% rate with a sliding scale to 20% on ceilings of $10,000 for a single person and $20,000 for a married couple. Non-first-time buyers will be able to avail of the relief at a rate of 15% on ceilings of $3,000 for a single person, $6,000 for a couple. Looking at the current situation in the housing market and by extension the construction industry, this is a measured approach to encourage activity in the market. Of the order of 170,000 construction workers have lost their jobs since 2007 onwards, and construction activity as a percentage of GDP has gone from excessive levels to below what would be considered normal levels, with a disastrous effect on employment. I think these time-limited measures are reasonable efforts to encourage activity and which may lead to increased employment in this sector. Just turning to some business supports that have been mentioned in the Finance Bill. As well as measures to help individuals, the Bill also includes new business and enterprise supports that aim to create employment and grow economic activity. In relation to foreign income earnings deductions, the first of these is the one that I just mentioned above. And if we are to continue the growth in our exports, and in particular exports for indigenous companies, we need to capture market share in emerging economies. Much has been written about the BRIC economy's growing share of the global economic activity and the need for business to capture a share of this. And I think the foreign income earnings deduction for employees who develop these markets is a welcome support to Irish businesses to expand into these markets with the potential to create jobs. Again, this measure ties in with the focus of the Action Plan for Jobs and other innovative ideas like the Board Be a Marketing Fellowship, where Irish graduates are paired with exporting businesses to promote agri-food exports in new markets. This is the type of joined-up necessary approach to enable Irish businesses to expand and create jobs. In relation to the SARP programme, this is another welcome. This programme will incentivise foreign executives to relocate here, and I know Deputy McClelland felt differently about this, but I feel quite the opposite. And I also think it will add as an incentive to multinationals to stay here and expand. While it is a tax break for a specific category of worker, I welcome this move as it is designed to give us a competitive advantage in crucial growth areas. For example, just this week, the Action Plan for Jobs focused on the potential for job creation in sectors like digital gaming and IT. In certain sectors like these, a concentration of expertise is required to grow a development hub. Canada is a good example of this. In Canada, they have given tax breaks to gaming developers for a number of years to kickstart its gaming industry, and it is now a leading gaming centre in the world. This incentive is also time limited and has the potential to bring jobs to Ireland as well as keeping existing jobs here. The bill also includes changes to the R&D tax credit to spur new business ideas. More flexibility in the allocation of the tax credit has been provided for, and this, along with other corporation tax and with our corporation tax rate, will add to our attraction in the highly competitive sectors we are targeting for job growth. A range of measures have also been included in this bill to grow employment in the financial services sector. Despite our recent experience of banking and financial incompetence, financial services are still a huge employer here and an area with high potential for future job growth in areas like the green IFSC. Just turning to equality, and I did say that we have to learn from mistakes in the past and look to solve those in the future. All of these measures are designed to aid job growth, and for that they are to be welcomed. An area I do feel very strongly about and where there needs to be much more focus is in relation to the concept of equality in future budgetary processes. And I suppose equality has a different meaning to different people. But it's very easy to get lost in the figures around the economic situation, and this bill is no different. But to the ordinary man and woman out there, the feeling of fairness is always foremost in their minds, and likewise, it should always be foremost in ours. I feel very strongly that all budgetary decisions should be equality-proofed. I mentioned this before, the budgetary process, and I do believe that it's imperative on any department that they must have some sort of equality audit carried out on any future budgetary process to ensure that there's an even and fair distribution of any pain and obviously any future gain when things turn well too in future budgets. We have a revised budget cycle, as Deputy Nash mentioned, with aims for a multi-year approach that provides increased oversight and aims to allow for certainty regarding investment and decision-making. I do appreciate this new focus. I would like to see greater analysis of how these decisions are made, what the concepts are underlying the decision-making process, and fundamentally, if equality is at the heart of those decisions. I think this has to be the focus of future decision-making, especially in relation to budgetary matters, as equality must always be our focus and our goal. Finally, Cathaoirleach, I welcome this finance bill in the context of our financial position that we find ourselves in, and particularly the measures to promote job creation. Our priority must be to exit the EU-IMF programme and restore our economic independence. The decisions in this finance bill are most definitely a step in the process, and we have sought to share the burden fairly. However, in a budget that takes 3.8 billion out of the economy, it is almost impossible for it to be completely seen as fair. But I think the mistakes that we must learn from is that we must always strive to have equality at the heart of any decisions for future budgetary processes. Thank you, Cathaoirleach.
Thank you very much.